Is the Carolina Panthers wide receiver room truly among the league's elite, or are we just hoping for a miracle? A major ranking was just released, and the results are honestly a slap in the face for everyone in Charlotte. While other teams are getting all the national spotlight, our squad was left out in the cold. But is this snub actually fair? Or is there a hidden weapon ready to prove the doubters wrong this season? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Does this unit have what it takes to shock the NFL? Let's dive in. The current conversation surrounding the Panthers' wide receiver room is centered on the fact that the group is not yet considered elite, as evidenced by their absence from the latest top 10 rankings. While the emergence of Tetairoa McMillan has provided a significant boost to the offense, the overall unit still has a lot to prove before gaining national recognition. Recently, Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report released a list of the NFL's top 10 receiving groups following the A.J. Brown trade, and the Panthers were omitted. The list highlighted high-performing teams like the Minnesota Vikings, Dallas Cowboys, and Cincinnati Bengals, putting the Panthers in a position where they must continue to develop their depth. The reality is that while the organization possesses a high-level talent in Tetairoa McMillan, the collective group has not reached the consistency or output necessary to be ranked alongside the league's top-tier receiving core. This current standing is a direct reflection of the work that remains to be done within the passing game. For the Panthers to ascend into that upper echelon, the focus must shift toward maximizing every player in the rotation. The coaching staff and the front office are clearly aware that simply having one star is not enough to carry an entire passing offense in this competitive league. As the roster continues to evolve, the challenge is to turn individual potential into a cohesive, dangerous group that can consistently threaten opposing secondaries. The team understands that rankings are external, but they serve as a benchmark for what the team is currently missing. With the season approaching, all eyes are on how these players will perform collectively. For the fans who always keep pounding, this journey toward elite status remains a top priority for the franchise. When analyzing why the Panthers were left off the list, the comparison to other teams provides necessary context. One group the Panthers might challenge for a spot is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who currently sit at number 8. The argument hinges on the fact that while Jacksonville has depth, their primary receiver, Brian Thomas Jr., struggled with a sophomore slump during the 2025 season. Much of that decline in production was linked to the quarterback situation, with Mac Jones under center for a significant portion of those games. Despite the struggles of their WR1, the Jaguars maintain an advantage in depth due to the presence of Jacoby Myers, acquired via trade last season, and the continued development of Parker Washington. Parker Washington successfully broke out last year as a versatile complement to the offense, which helped keep the Jacksonville unit ranked higher in the eyes of analysts. While the Panthers can argue that they hold the superior primary receiver in Tetairoa McMillan compared to the Jaguars' current situation, the debate ultimately falls back on the depth of the roster. Jacksonville's ability to rely on multiple contributors gives them a structural stability that the Panthers are currently working to replicate. This distinction is vital for understanding why rankings favor other teams. It is not just about the top-end talent. It is about the reliability of the entire rotation, from the first option down to the slot receiver. The Panthers are in a developmental phase where they must prove their secondary options can handle increased responsibility. If the depth can catch up to the standards set by their lead receiver, the overall ranking of the unit will inevitably reflect that growth in future evaluations across the league. Why does this matter right now for the Panthers? The answer lies in the immediate necessity to balance the offensive attack and take the pressure off Tetairoa McMillan. Without a fully realized multi-dimensional receiving room, defenses can focus their resources on containing the team's top threat, effectively limiting the ceiling of the passing game. As the roster currently stands, Jalen Coker is projected to occupy the WR2 spot, with Xavier Legette expected to function as the WR3 heading into the start of the year. However, the depth chart remains fluid, particularly at the third receiver position. This matters because the current configuration of the group needs a catalyst to unlock its full potential. The lack of a consensus top-tier room means that the offense is currently reliant on the individual performance of a few key figures, rather than a systemic, high-volume production across the board. This puts a significant burden on the coaching staff to devise schemes that maximize these specific players while they continue to develop. The current situation creates a high-stakes environment where every snap becomes an opportunity for the supporting cast to prove their worth. If the supporting receivers do not elevate their game, the Panthers will continue to struggle for recognition, regardless of individual talent levels at the top. The team is at a critical juncture where the success of the offense depends on the collective growth of everyone on the field. To shift the narrative, these players must demonstrate that they can perform consistently, providing the quarterback with reliable targets in critical situations. The focus remains on building a unit that is more than just the sum of its parts, addressing the current deficiencies that kept them off the recent national lists. The most significant factor in changing the perception of the receiving room is the potential impact of rookie Chris Brazell II. Drafted in the 3rd round, Chris Brazell II brings a vertical element that was distinctly missing from the offense during the 2025 season. His college track record is impressive. In 2025, he finished with 62 catches for 1,017 yards and 9 touchdowns, earning him a first-team All-SEC bid. This performance established him as one of the most dangerous vertical threats in the country, and the team is hoping that these traits translate immediately to the professional level. If Chris Brazell II can bring that same explosive speed and one-play touchdown potential to a Panthers jersey, it would drastically alter how opponents defend the team. By forcing defensive backs to respect the deep ball, he could create more space underneath for players like Tetairoa McMillan, Jalen Coker, and Xavier Legette. The addition of such a player is not just about raw statistics. It is about the tactical advantage he provides to the entire offense. The team is banking on his ability to stretch the field, as this is the specific missing ingredient required to elevate the room's overall performance. While his role is still being defined, his profile fits exactly what is needed to complement the existing talent. The organization is closely monitoring his transition, as his success could be the key to moving the Panthers from a unit that is still proving itself to one that demands national attention. If he reaches his potential, the offense will gain a new dimension, providing the quarterback with a vertical threat that changes the geometry of every passing play they execute during the upcoming season. Looking ahead to the upcoming season, the progression of the Panthers' receiving room is the ultimate test of the team's roster construction. The expectation is that Tetairoa McMillan will continue to serve as the anchor of the passing game, but the true evolution of the unit will be measured by the contributions of the supporting players, with Jalen Coker and Xavier Legette aiming to lock down their respective roles, and Chris Brazell II pushing for significant reps as a vertical threat. The group is clearly in a transition period. The objective is to move beyond the current assessment that the team lacks elite depth. Every training session and preseason opportunity will be used to determine if these players can build the cohesion required for sustained success. The Panthers know that the only way to silence the critiques regarding their absence from top 10 lists is to produce on the field when the games matter. There is no shortcut to achieving elite status. It requires consistent, high-level production from multiple receivers every single week. As the team prepares, the intensity in their development remains high, with a clear focus on addressing the gaps identified in their current ranking. If they succeed in integrating their new explosive talent with the existing veterans and developing players, the narrative surrounding the team's passing game will undoubtedly begin to shift. The path forward is straightforward, even if it is challenging. The receivers must work in unison to prove that they are capable of being more than just an emerging group. By the time the season kicks off, the hope is that they will have established the depth and reliability needed to force analysts to reconsider their rankings and recognize the true potential within the organization.